It's Christmas Eve, Tuesday, December 24th, 2024. You're watching Co-op for Two. We've got a last-minute live stream here tonight. I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule, so maybe we'll play this game, and then we'll see if we want to keep playing games into the night. Let's check in with the chat, see how everyone's doing. I've asked everyone to tell me what they're doing for Christmas. Let's see. Teresa says, I spend time with my family, having dinner at my grandpa's house. Jelly OSB says, my plan is to watch my girl open her presents, have a lovely dinner, spend the rest of the day building toys. Okay. Building toys. What does that mean? Alyssa says, I'm working tomorrow. We did ours today, but with 2 teen boys, quick open gifts lost to the computers. Okay, well, that makes sense. Theo says, I'd like 5 cents. Even if Santa can't get it, I can. Okay. Marlene says, dinner, and It's a Wonderful Life with Friends. I keep thinking I should have my wife watch It's a Wonderful Life. I'm not sure she's seen it. She likes the classic movies. She likes Alfred Hitchcock. She likes the movies that are, you know, not, that are sort of right up there on the surface. Those are great movies, of course. Putting the toys together, building a Lego. Okay, yeah, Lego makes sense. All right, let's do a little bit of bookkeeping before we get started today. On Friday, we are finally starting our playthrough of Razorhurst Blood Alley. I forget, it was about a year ago, maybe more, that we played the first Razorhurst, which is a free print and play mystery detective game created by John Keane, who's a prolific print and play and published board game designer. And Razorhurst was a very special experience. Now, it helps when you just discover a game and you have no idea what to expect. When the expectations get high, it becomes a little more troublesome, but we're going to try to, it's basically had no playtesting. It's a big, giant game with hundreds of pages of text, similar to Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, but with its own mechanics. that somehow worked the first time, you may want to go check out our playthrough of Razorhurst. Both Razorhurst and Razorhurst Blood Alley can be downloaded and played using a tablet. Because it's free, you may not want to join us for our full live stream. You may want to try playing it yourself, but maybe come by, watch the first hour or so when we talk about the game, see what it's like, read through the instructions. And if it seems like something your group might want to play, you could stop watching. What else? I did post finally my review of Box 2, my spoiler-free review of Box 2. I got to have a little bit of fun with timing and freeze frame in the beginning of it. What else? As I said, it's possible that we'll play something after this. Now, this game, Death in a Snowstorm, is published by a small indie company. They just sell through their website. There are several games that they make. This is MurderByPost. They make some cheap, shorter games. Then they make 2 longer games. This is one of them. The other one actually looks more appealing to me, significantly more appealing. The other one is sort of a world travel mystery. This one is billed as sort of an advent calendar type thing. There are 12 envelopes. They say you could play them like you're playing an advent calendar, playing each one the 12 days before Christmas. We're going to play it all at once here. It's listed as taking 1.5 to 3 hours, 1.5 to 3 hours. If you multiply that by 3 to get how long it normally takes us to play games, we could be looking at a 9-hour game here. We are not going to break this up into a separate session. We're going to play this all tonight, so it's potentially possible we'll be here for 9 hours. Now, that's going to be difficult, partly because my sleep schedule is all messed up. That's why this was scheduled without advanced warning. We're going to try to use this live stream to get me back on night schedule. So we'll see how successful it is. We have our new system for when we get frustrated at a puzzle. That's our new, we've moved from poker chips to bullets. This is our new system. 5 bullets for 5 bad puzzles. When we get a puzzle that starts to anger me, I'll just put a bullet in this revolver cylinder. And if we get to 5 bullets, then we'll abort the whole game. Hopefully that won't happen though. What else do we need to say about this? I purchased this myself with help from the Patreon supporters of this channel, who have made a huge difference in terms of being able to buy these more experimental games. This one was $56. I'm not sure if that included shipping, but that's very expensive for what I think is a cold case game. You can see there's not much here. Although one thing I'm a little bit confused about is the website says that this is mostly screen-free. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. Does that mean we're going to have to do some stuff online? I don't know, but we have our tablet nearby if we need it. We'll try to give our thoughts when we finish it. I guess we'll try to be a little bit gentle, given that this is just a small independent company that you'll have a hard time finding any reviews of these games. But on the other hand, for $56, sort of expect something. And then the other thing that I'm not 100% sure what to make of it is the difficulty level here. It's rated at 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know, this is a company we haven't played before and not much about it on the web. So I don't know, you never know with these difficulty levels. Outside of the series that this company has made, does that mean of their games this is the harder level, or does it mean of all mystery games it's a hard level? Now, one person who can answer that question is joining us here, Stacy. Stacy, who has played more mystery games than anyone I've met, is here, and I'll bet she's played this. And she says it's not going to be a 4.5 difficulty for us. Stacy, actually, if my memory serves me, Stacy and I talked about this game, and Stacy has played it and must have given me the green light to purchase it. And I think we both bought the travel game they made. And Stacy hasn't played the travel game yet and was thinking about joining us for that when we get to it. We'll see if we like this one. Maybe we'll play the travel one. I do have it behind me here. And I'm sort of getting the itch to play some science fiction mystery games. That's Star Trek Cryptic and Murder on the Moon. So I'd like to get to that Star Trek Cryptic in the next couple of days if we can. But I do want to be fresh for Razorhurst. Okay, Stacy says this is more of a novelty. That makes sense in terms of it being a little bit like an advent calendar. All right, so maybe it won't take us 9 hours. Let's see how it goes. All right. The year is 1931. 6 friends brave the darkness and snow to celebrate Christmas at a cozy log cabin in rural Norway. But as the storm becomes more fierce, tensions rise to the surface. Once the snowstorm clears, only 5 will leave the cabin alive. All right. And we've got a little information here. I guess we might as well take a look at this. Step into the story, investigate the backstories of 6 friends, uncover the ties that bind them together, test your wits, solve puzzles, decipher clues, use your powers of deduction to uncover crucial aspects of the case, including weapon, motive, and murderer. Travel back in time, beautiful vintage designs whisk you back to 1931. Okay, and it's an English company. I didn't remember that. All right, let us open it up. Why should that be so hard? Okay. I see. It's like fully sealed here. Like really sealed. Sealed with some technology that's totally different. Okay, Death in a Snowstorm. Now, it would be nice to be able to pass this along. $56. Okay. Death in a Snowstorm, a Christmas murder mystery. Detectives, we need your help to solve this bitterly cold case from 1931. 6 friends gather at a cozy log cabin in rural Norway to celebrate Christmas together. Once the snowstorm clears, only 5 will leave the cabin alive. Okay, step into the story, gathering clues from the 12 envelopes. Keep your wits about you to uncover the facts of the case. Victim, who is unrepentant of their previous crime. Weapon 1, weapon 2, location of murder, time of murder, accomplice, motive, and murderer. For help along the way, use the hints and solutions envelope. Once you've made your final deductions, you can read the reveal. Okay, so we do go online for the solution. You can use this kit as an advent calendar or mark the 12 days of Christmas, or to mark the 12 days of Christmas, use the twine and pegs to arrange the envelopes on the wall. If you prefer not to wait, you can open all the clues in one evening. The choice is yours. Okay. So Stacy was saying a little bit of a novelty. I can see how this would be a fun thing. Okay, so here we have twine and pegs. If you wanted to hang these up on the Christmas tree or something and read 1 per day, but we're not going to need that. All right, I guess we read these in order. 4, 5, 7, 8, probably 9, 10, 11, 12, and hints and solutions. Hopefully we won't need that. All right, so we are getting an advent calendar after all. Now, I did see on the website, it says you start solving at envelope 3. So I guess the first 2 are just going to be little introductions. Let's see. Okay, but all properly sealed. Shall I just cut it or shall I try to open it? Okay, here's our envelope 1. Got a snowflake with some green pen ink on it. A Christmas to Remember, 19 December 1931. We've arrived at long last. What a relief. It was quite a trek, with Freddie complaining about the cold most of the way. He's well into his 20s, but he was acting the child. Younger brothers are so trying. But I have a feeling that by the end of the trip, it will all have been worthwhile. It's been an age since we've had the gang together, and it didn't take long to convince them. We traveled by dog sled, heading for Christmas family cabin deep in rural Norway, far from the nearest settlement. We almost lost hope during that chilly last leg as we journeyed deeper into the frozen tundra. I will admit that returning home crossed my mind several times. Suddenly, as the last light of day gave way to dusk, we spied the warm glow of our cabin ahead, shining like a jewel in the darkness. What a joy to behold! Nestled in a small clearing in the thick pine forest with snow all around, the cabin is fitted with all the modern conveniences one could hope for. Okay, so writing about Freddie the brother. Look at those dogs. I see some symbols here. Look, an E and then a weird symbol. Okay. Naturally, we were cold and exhausted on arrival, so Christian and Joe went on ahead to start the fires in the grates, and Eleonora and I settled the dogs for the night. Once we'd shed our outer layers, we had a simple supper of bread, cheese, fruit, and chutneys before retiring to the library for a delicious nightcap to die for. As gentle flakes continue to fall this evening, each of us retreats to our rooms, assured of a peaceful night's sleep. Christmas in Norway, what an adventure, Isabel. All right, remember, 6 arrive, only 5 go home. P.S. Joe was more than a little overindulgent with his nightcap. I do hope he doesn't overdo it every evening and spoil the holiday. Last time he was a real pain. Christian won't hear any of it. He sees Joe like a brother, even though he's a threat to our joyful festivities. In any case, we have a wealth of dear friends with us. All right, no mention of what this is or why we have it. No mention of why there's a weird symbol here. That's a nice sketch. Okay, so we're learning about the different characters, the different people here. Maybe we'll make a list of them in a bit, but for now, let's just put this aside. That's envelope 1. All right. Guess we're going to move along to envelope 2 here. 2 of 12. Aha. And puzzle pieces. All right. Let's read our letter here. December 1931, next day. I haven't introduced the gang yet. Here are the main players. Freddie Tyndall. My charming, irritating, maddening younger brother. So dramatic. Needs plenty of attention to keep him happy. A fabulous storyteller. Keeps us all laughing into the wee hours. He's an up-and-coming artist and writer. Ever so talented. I practically raised him since he was 7 years old, so we have a special connection. So are all our letters going to be from Isabel? So far, the first two are. Cynthia Wainwright. Freddie's American friend, cool, calm, and oh so collected. Cynthia is the ice to Freddie's fire. I find her a rather cold fish, but she's a good influence on him. A fashion model. Cynthia loves to parade the latest styles from New York, where she hails from originally. She makes Fred happy. I suppose that's what matters. Eleonora Rosselli, my dearest childhood friend. We weathered boarding school together. We weathered boarding school together, and she went on to pursue a career as a nurse. She's too good for this world, and I love her for it. Eleonora's been besotted with our Freddie for as long as I can remember, but so far on this trip, she seems to be switching allegiances to Joe. Joe Anderson. Johan and Christian were together in the Norwegian Merchant Navy during the Great War. Their ships went down in 1916, and Joe says that Christian saved his life that day. He's been a devoted friend ever since. Joe's a bit rough around the edges, rather impulsive, and has been struggling since the great crash. But he's getting back on his feet and doing odd jobs for Christian. Christian Larson, and now we have some more symbols here. My darling husband. There's an age gap and a culture gap, but neither are an issue for us. Christian is simply brilliant. He has the Midas touch. He's a smart and savvy businessman who somehow manages to make a success of things, even after the crash. They're talking about Wall Street crash, 1929, financial crash. He's never resented my independence, a true gem amongst men. Isabel Larson, née Tyndall. In other words, her new name is Larson. She's married Christian. Her maiden name was Tyndall. The sister of Freddie. Okay. She says, little old me. How would I describe myself? I'm a hard worker. I've had to be since Mama and Papa passed. I'm a lecturer in literature at the university, which is how I met Christian. He gave a talk on business in the modern era. We met afterwards and talked till the cafe closed at midnight. That's enough for now. We're visiting the nearest village while the sun shines. Okay, so letter 2 with some weird symbols. And we've got some puzzle pieces that don't go together. All right. Guess I'll keep these with our envelope too here. Shall I zoom out this view? Okay, that's as far out as I can go. Maybe we'll try to organize these. 1, 2. Okay, next up, envelope 3. I see. Okay, we have another snowflake piece with more paint marker on it. Now that's starting to look a little bit like Morse code. Dot, dash, dot, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot. It's starting to look like it might be some Morse code. Let's keep things together. Okay, what have we got here? A ship. A ship with a number 3 in envelope 3. Okay, photograph of a ship. What does it say? Aha. We've got a code here. Okay, VLRPXFA. Okay, so you can see, it looks like we might be dealing with a substitution cipher, maybe even a Caesar cipher. With these look like the length of words. If you had to guess, you might guess that that was a the. If it was a Caesar cipher, it'd be TUV, so it would just be back by 2. If that was a the. But that would make that a J, so that doesn't make sense. All right, we can get our Caesar cipher wheel out if we want to play around with this. It's interesting. You've got the same starting word, 3-letter word. The would make the most sense, but if so, it's not a Caesar cipher. It's not the. Could be something else. Certainly not going to be and. You've got a single letter word here. That's only a few letters this could be, right? So I or an A. That would be a good place to check a Caesar cipher, right? If I maps to F, that could help us. All right, I'll get my Caesar cipher wheel down in a second, and we can play with this. This may be a clue that it's a shift of 3. Would we get a shift of 3 to make it I, F, G, H, I? Okay, so that's tempting to think that this is a Caesar cipher shift of 3. If this turns to I, G, H, I, then what would this be? T, U, V, W, X, R, M, N, O, S, T, U. Y, O, U. Okay, so that's what we've got. We've got a Caesar cipher shift of 3, and that lets us decrypt this message. All right, before we decode this, let's talk about, I wonder if we should be trying to solve each envelope as it comes, or whether we should just go through them and then try to solve them. I guess we'll play it by ear, but let me go ahead and get my Caesar cipher shift here. My Caesar cipher wheel. I really should keep that down on the table. All right, so that 3 was our hint that it's a shift of 3. Let's go ahead and adjust this to our shift of 3. That means A turns to C. Okay, let's get our note card out. Okay. What have I done wrong here? Why was I so sure it's a Caesar cipher shift? What? I said F goes to I. Yes, okay, sorry. Just confused myself a little bit here. Okay, so V is going to Y, Y, O, U. E goes to S, X goes to A, F goes to I, A goes to D. You said U goes to R, B goes to E. We could use a web tool for this, but since it's small enough, we might as well do it by hand. T, R goes to U, O goes to R, E is going to go to N. No. A goes to N. You said you returned I, T, you returned it, Y, O, U, then I goes to L, I, E, D. You said you returned it, you lied. Yikes. Period. I, T goes to W, I will. Is this going to be kill? No. M, A, K, E. I will make you. I guess this is going to be pay. E, A, Y. Okay, you said you returned it. You lied. I will make you pay. What I need to do is, this is nice woodwind, but I really need to print a 3D one that is a slide, because going around this wheel slows me down. If I just had it in a line, I would be a little faster. Okay, you said you returned it. You lied. I will make you pay. Okay, so what are we talking about not being returned? I wonder. No discussion of where this cipher came from or why. I suspect this of being Morse code, but I'm not going to worry about decoding that yet. Let's see if we get a little Morse code tip sheet, or whether we're going to have to go look it up somewhere. Do I have it on some of my notes? Melissa says, I vote play each envelope in order. Buddha says, do boxes say if you'll need one of these ciphers? I need to get one. No, they don't say. They tend not to say. Okay, envelope 4. What have we got here? Looks like a newspaper printout from the Independent Chronicle, Friday, November 20, 1931. So a month ago. Let's see what we've got here. Big Doy Emerald, a counterfeit, thieves at large. Oh, okay. We've got a robbery going on here. Okay. Why are my... I figure out why that doesn't work sometimes. A magnificent emerald belonging to Her Majesty Queen Maud of Norway has been revealed to be an excellent forgery. The resplendent stone, which has been passed down the royal lineage for 5 generations, went missing during the latter days of the Great War. Suspected stolen by foreign spies, the emerald made a miraculous reappearance at its original residence in Bygdøy, the royal family's country estate, in November 1919. Is this connected to our case? Is this gang of friends going to be jewel thieves? Although confirmed as genuine at the time and reinstated in the royal collection, a recent appraisal has uncovered the truth that the jewel, heralded as Norway's most valuable, is in fact an excellent forgery. Okay. I like this little twist. Here is the beloved Queen, Queen Maud, on her coronation day. Okay, she looks a little stiff. It is believed that the thieves disguised themselves as members of the royal guard to gain entry to the Bygdøy estate and placed the counterfeit emerald in the Queen's collection. Norway's police and royal guard are collaborating to search for the thieves' whereabouts. No clear leads have been forthcoming thus far. It is speculated that the emerald may have made its way abroad. Okay, Hornsey Red Sox run to victory. Popularity of baseball continues to rise across the country. The Rochdale Grays took a thrashing at last Saturday's baseball game against the seemingly unbeatable Hornsey Red Sox. The game was truly won in the 5th inning when Richards scored a home run to push the team toward victory. Same day saw an intense rivalry played out on the field between the West Ham Hammers and the Burtonwood Bees, with the Bees buzzing into a confident lead. Safe to say, baseball is entering a golden age in Great Britain, with new clubs starting up across the country. Perhaps it will soon begin to rival the popularity of treasured sports such as football and cricket. Only time will tell. And then we've got some scores that look a little fishy, but no reason to think they're holding any codes. And then we've got, hey, a bowl of Eugene's a day keeps the veterinarian away. Eugene's. Okay, a little ad for dog food. And then I see our symbol here. The latest novel from E.C. Featherwing features the eponymous Father William. Hailing from the beautiful Bahamas, Father William's a law-abiding Christian caring for his parish. But he is shocked to find things are not as they seem. He discovers his friend in a sorry state who confesses his love for a wealthy woman. She's also his boss. When she disappears, the past awakens as the father unveils the sins of his parishioners. So now I notice something. Here's a symbol and a letter L. Now, if we go back and take another look at this one, we've got a similar but different symbol and maybe the letter B. So is that what we're getting? A whole bunch of... Yes, we're getting a little alphabet. This symbol is an E. And then this symbol is a B. And then this symbol is an L. Okay, so we're getting the alphabet to decode some message at some point. All right, I guess we're just going to continue going here. So far, no hint that this is going to take us 9 hours. But we never know. Okay, envelope 5. Okay, another snowflake piece. And some more jigsaw pieces. And another letter and another symbol. Okay, GW. Who is GW? CW. Cynthia Wainwright. Okay, let's see what Cynthia Wainwright is writing. December 22nd. Okay, next third day for us. Started on 19, 20, 21, 22, fourth day. Stacy says this is not going to take 9 hours. Okay. Well, then we'll play something else afterwards. Darling Sis. Sis, darling sis, I do hope you're well. How's mother doing, etc. Lord, I hate this place. So damn cold. The snow is intensifying tonight, and the wind howling around the cabin has my nerves on edge. I'm just here to do what needs to be done. These Europeans are so amusing with their traditions and quaint ideas. If it weren't for Freddie, I'd be out of here. Back to London and the club. The drama started last night when we were sitting for supper. I was wearing that sparkly dress with my diamond set. Well, they look real enough. The two Norwegian men started a heated debate. The scruffy one, Joe, I think, was talking about not forgetting one's heritage, integrity, and so on. Funny to hear a drunkard lecturing on integrity. His friend Christian, the tall, charming one, tried to reason with him, speaking about how we must move with the times. Couldn't agree more. His wife, the professor, joined in too. She's a real snob. But by this time, Joe had worked himself into a frenzy, and he eventually blew up. He slammed his hands on the table and stormed off. What a to-do. A real fuss over nothing, although Freddie and I couldn't have guessed we'd have such entertainment in spades. Anyway, it's nearly over. Maybe enough time with Freddie's sister dearest will get us what we need to start our lives in New York. My heart is set on it. Freddie says I'm his muse. He's going to make me a star. Must run. Your ever-devoted sister, C.Y. Sigh, Cynthia. Okay, and then we've got another symbol. Looks like probably it's upside down. Okay. Okay, a little bit odd here. It's maybe enough time with Freddie's sister dearest will get us what we need to start our lives in New York. What does that mean? Get us what we need. What do you need? Money? Okay. Well, I mean, surely eventually we're going to put together this jigsaw puzzle. So I don't know if we need to keep these pieces separate for now. Last time we did a jigsaw puzzle was box 2, and I did not like it. All right. Well, envelope 6. Maybe we'll open envelope 6 and then we'll take a break here. All right. I see the screen looks like it's dropping frames. Do you see it dropping frames? Is it choppy for you or is it just for me? Sometimes it gets that way, but it's just for me, not for you. We've got 6 pieces for the jigsaw. And then here in envelope 6, we've got some miscellaneous things here. We've got a calling card, playing card, okay? Playing card with Cynthia's profile on it. Four of spades, okay? Then we've got another letter symbol and something weird that looks a little bit like the baseball game scores. On some grid paper. I'm not sure what to make of that. And then we've got a torn up postcard, it looks like. All right, let's see if we can make sense of it. I see. It's missing a little piece, it looks like. Is it? Maybe not. A little weird. All right, maybe it's not missing anything. All right, let's see what we've got here. You once told me the Norse legend that the northern lights are reflections from the armor of the Valkyries. The choosers of the slain. After witnessing the incredible aurora this evening, I can't stop thinking about our predicament. Is there any way out for me? Can it be done without my supply? I'm begging you, please reconsider. Okay, and then on the other side of this is the northern lights, the aurora borealis. Doesn't look like there's anything other than that. There's no symbol. Oh, yes, there is. There is a symbol there. Wonder if we need to start writing these down. Are we going to forget that there's one here? And what letter is it from? There it is, the S. So there's an S. Now, what about... So one thing we might consider is we do have handwriting, and we don't know who this postcard is from, although this was Cynthia's. So is this going to be from Cynthia? I mean, here's Cynthia's handwriting. I wonder if we could... Doesn't look like her handwriting, right? Like, look at, here's the I. I couldn't agree more. The each sentence is started with a very large uppercase letter, and here's the I. And here's, look, here's this I. Although this is Aurora, this evening, I can't stop thinking. Okay, so this is not Cynthia writing. Is it Isabella? No, look at Isabella's eye. That's a very different looking eye. Okay, so this is someone we don't know. We don't know whose handwriting this is. I wonder if, I'll tell you what we do. Before we take a break, I'm going to at least write down all of the symbols we see so we don't miss any. We've got an E on one. On letter 2, we had the B. On letter 3, I guess we didn't see a symbol on 3 unless it's here and I'm missing it. I don't think we did get a symbol on 3. Then on 4, we had an L. I'm not going to bother writing the symbol down. I just want to keep track. On 5, we got an A. This is our 3, had nothing. And 5, we got our A. And these are 6. We got a K. We have no idea why we have this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right, let's take a little break earlier than normal, just because we're making such fast progress through this, and we should take a moment to appreciate it. All right, I'll see you in 8 minutes. Well, we're back. YouTube says for 15 concurrent viewers, 8 likes. The Discord channel was giving me a hard time about my rating box 2 a 5. 5 is a very low rating, but people thought I was being too kind to it. Okay, that was envelope 6. Give some thought to what you'd like to play after this. Maybe we'll do a marathon all night long. But maybe we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves. This one seems like it might be difficult. All right. Envelope 7. More jigsaw pieces. Shall we? Might be time for us to start putting together this jigsaw piece. Okay, what have we got here? There's north. 1 through 8. 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe 1 and 8. 1 and 8. That makes more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. Christian, don't lose your way, brother. The Veg Vizier will always help you stay on the right path. Okay, the Veg Vizier, huh? It's gone. He's gone. I should never have let him come. The storm is raging. He could die out there. What the hell do we do now? It's far too dangerous to explore. The wind is pounding the cabin and the snow is waist deep. We'll have to wait for the wretched storm to pass. Okay. Christian, don't lose your way, brother. Okay, we were told that these two, Christian and Joe, think of themselves as brothers. I believe we're told that. Ship went down in 1916, saved his life. He's been a devoted friend ever since. Okay, maybe he didn't say he thought of him like a brother, but I just assumed that. Don't lose your way, brother. I mean, we don't know whose handwriting this is until we study it. But who is out in the snow? Christian? Christian is out in the snow, maybe? So I was saying this is north, but it's also likely that this is that symbol, right? That probably we've got a symbol for N. And what the hell is this thing? We don't know. Is it some snowflake? And is a veg vizier something we should know about? Maybe someone could search for this. Is this a real thing, veg vizier? Or is this something in code? Or is this something made up? Is this the veg vizier? And if so, how do you use it? Well, we're going to have to put this off because I don't think we know enough to use this. That's envelope 7. Let me start putting together this. Well, actually, let me not. Why try to put together that puzzle before we get more pieces? There's a creature flying here. Okay, I might have to take care of that in a minute. Okay, envelope 8. 8 of 12. Here we go. A veg vizier is an Icelandic magical stave to help the bearer find their way through rough weather. Okay, so it is a real thing. Some Icelandic, Norwegian thing. But is it that thing that we just were looking at? Is it that diagram? Is this what a veg vizier really looks like? One of these days I'm going to cut my hand on the live stream. It's not going to be pretty. Greg was saying that there's this guy who's shot himself on a YouTube live stream by accident, and that's how he got all his subscribers. All right. Envelope 8, which we had to tear a little bit, has another playing card. 6 of diamonds. And more puzzle pieces. Nothing more. No symbol. Unless there's one on this card that I'm not seeing. Doesn't look like it. All right. Number 9 or number 6, depending on how you look at it. I see this one does have an underline under it, so that was 6. And does this have an underline under the 9? No. All right, well, we won't worry about it. So far, it doesn't look like it matters which envelope is which. Well, that's creepy. What do you think that is? I'm almost a little scared to open it up. Tiny little bottle with a folded up note in it. Tiny corked little bottle. Folded up note. That's not going to be easy to get out. All right, let's see what we've got here. Got my little box of tricks over there. There we go. Look at that. First time that's been useful. All right. Box 9 of 12. Let's see what it is. Folded up message. Roll me up to see the point. Roll me up to see the point. What have we got here? Do you think it means roll me up to see the point? It could be one of these. There's maybe a name for this, where you have to roll it with a certain diameter to see a message. Or it could mean that we have to make it go around. Let's see. If we were going for point, though, P... See the point, huh? And it's easy to get PO. And then, okay. Roll me up to see the point. Huh. What does point even mean? Roll me up to see the point. All right, well, let's look at this for a second. Rather than try to solve it, let's see what we can observe. That's my strategy these days. Don't try to solve it. Just try to do some insights. Okay, so what do you notice here? First of all, I notice a couple things. Here's one thing. Repeat letters. H, H. So it's not like a key. It's not like it's an ordering of letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Lots of repeats. H, H. Got an M and an M. Does it look like it's spelling words if we read it out? No, it doesn't. It does seem like we could try to get a message. If we rolled it, we'd have to know what to roll it around. There's our clue. Roll me up to see the point. Amato says the wraparound cipher you were asking about is called a skyle. That's when you have a cipher that you wrap around to spell out a phrase. But it would have to be such that it wouldn't have to be. Would it make sense, though, that you'd get like multiple words? Depending on how you, I think we might just want to wait. We do have one thing to wrap around, that's this, but that's a very narrow thing. But you might expect that if that was the case, you could do it without actually wrapping it around, just by guessing, like E could match with the N, then you would get, I wonder actually, how many letters did we say? 20? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's a little problematic if they were going to wrap around and be a number of words of an equal length. But I suppose you might have the last words that end without a full set. Okay, well, let's leave this for now. We'll come back to this after we have a moment to think about it. Let's open envelope 10. Dispaminite says, I think I got it. Okay, this would be a good time to remind you. We have a new system here where if you figure something like that out, do not shout out the answer. You can just say that you've got it, but wait until we give everyone a chance, mostly me, to try to solve it. So Dispaminite did right. He said, I think I got it, but he hasn't shouted out the answer. And then we'll figure out how much time we want to spend on it and when we need hints. Trying to preserve these envelopes so that this game can be passed along. More cards. How strange. I wonder what these cards are all about. They don't seem to be anything but cards, but maybe when we lay them out, they will make some sense. They are Cynthia. They've got Cynthia's thing on them. How strange. We've got a 4. We've got a 6. 4, 5, 6. Do we have a straight? We've got too many to a straight. I'm not sure what we've got. Okay, well, that was 10. We only have 2 more envelopes. Doesn't seem like we have enough to solve much of a mystery, but guess we'll keep going. I'm not thrilled with these envelopes that are requiring me to destroy. Okay, this is envelope 11 of 12. That feels like a heavy metal coin. Oh, look at that. Okay, it's a piece of metal necklace. It's actually rather heavy. I think it might even be kind of like copper. A necklace charm, and it's got our symbols all around it. It looks like it might be the same thing on both sides. Let's see. Yes, it's identical on both sides. And we should be able to decrypt this. It also looks very much like this. So I suspect this will be how we read the message, right? It's going to be an 11-letter message. Once we know what each of these symbols corresponds to in a letter, then we will form a phrase by reading this as the 1st and 8th letter, this as the 6th, 9th, and 10th letter, and so on. So we're almost ready to do that. All right, well, that explains this completely. Maybe we should do that now. Let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 letters. And how many letters do we know? We know 6. So we don't know all of them. We may be missing one. We still don't know what these snowflakes are about. Okay, let's open envelope 12, and then we'll fill in the rest of this. Our final envelope. Our final envelope is some tracing paper. Well, that's weird. Now, what does this look like? I'll tell you what it looks like. There's probably a name for this, but it looks like this would be overlaid with a letter and certain boxes of words would show up. And I recognize this symbol from letter 1, this drawing of the moon. And you could imagine that this looks like this. How exact is it? You could imagine that it's reading off a secret message in here. I don't remember if we got any other letters that had moons, but it is suspicious that this moon is here to convince Christian to return the jewel. Okay. Grill. DJ Moneycut says in the chat. That's exactly what this is. This is basically a grill. And we can see already that this is exactly where it goes. And Christian is supposed to return the jewel. So Christian has stolen the grill. Okay. So I think we have got big parts of it. So what's left for us to do? We've got the jigsaw puzzle. We've got the necklace code. We've got the cards to understand. Let's go with the necklace first because I'm quite curious about that one myself. All right, so we need to get the letters right. So here was our thing. All right, so let's write down, let's draw the symbols for each. Okay, so there was our E. And I wonder, rather than have to draw this whole thing out, maybe I'll do it like this. So we've got all right, so this one was our E. That's down here. So we've got E down here. Okay. And then in letter 2, we have this one. Which one is this one? It looks like it's this one here. So this is our B. Okay. We didn't see anything for 3. We'll worry about that later. Here was our next one. That looks like this one here. That's an L. Okay. Here was our A. Which one is this one here? Letter 5. Here was on our letter 6. All right. This one is over here. That's our K. And then where did we have our N? This one here. Were we right about that or not? Actually, it looks like maybe we were wrong about that. We all suspected that this was actually going to be the N, but it doesn't match anything, does it? So what are we missing? This one? This and this look the same. Do they not? 3 lines, 3 lines. This and this are the same and are missing. This one is different, but we don't know what that one is either. That's very strange. All right, well, let's fill out what we do know and try to understand why we were wrong about this. Maybe we've just overlooked this. Wasn't there one... Was there one I meant to write down that was really hidden? Seems like there was, wasn't there? I feel like I went to all this trouble to help us not forget. And in fact, we did forget. Was there a symbol on... I feel like there was one that was dark and hard to see. The S on the postcard, thank you. That's the ripped up postcard. Had an S on the back that I wanted to write down to remember. You could barely see it, but the channel has reminded me, thankfully. So yeah, it was the S, which is this symbol here. Okay, good, thank you. So that was our S. Which one was it? Here, it was the E. So I guess there's a whole bunch of E's. Which E is it? It's the 3 lines and then the E, which is here. So this is our S, and also this is our S. Unless we're thinking these are the same, but they're not. They look very similar, though. I want to call this an S too, but we'll put an asterisk around both of these. Okay, we're still missing one. Probably it is somewhere. It could be on the jigsaw puzzle. But let's write it all out first. So I claim it's going to be an 11-letter code. Okay, and then here is our thing that goes there. Okay, so 1 and 8 are over here. This is the one we don't know. 1 and 8, we don't know until we find out this code. But we can do the rest. 2 is an S. 3 is an A. 4 is B. 5 is the E. 6 is an L, as is 9 and 10. 7 is the K. 8 is the blank. And 11 is the S. Well, you can see what this is going to be. Isabel kills. There's our missing letter I. Matches the 1 and the 8. Which gives us an I over here. Maybe we've overlooked it. It doesn't matter. We can infer it. So Isabel kills. Now, what we want to do with that information, I'm not sure. but let's put it aside for now. I think maybe it's a little unusual, this game, right? Because we're told when we read the intro here, let's look at this again. Victim who's unrepentant, weapon 1, weapon 2, location, time, accomplice, motive, murderer. So it may just be that's the answer to that. The murderer is Isabel. Oh, look, there's the eye. There's our eye we were looking for. All right, we should have noted that. But anyway, we figured out we deduced the eye anyway. Okay, so it may just be that we need to simply answer these questions, and decoding this may just give us this question here: who's the murderer? But let's keep going for a little bit. Let's work on the jigsaw puzzle and see what it gives us. And then I suspect the snowflakes will be Morse code, but we'll worry about that in a little bit. All right, so we've done jigsaw puzzles before, and it's taken hours, but this one does not look like it will take hours, does it? Got corner. Is this going to be the cabin? That looks like it's actually the door of the cabin. Sauna. All right. Well, I mean, okay. Do you see anything any information there that's given us a clue other than it's a location? It does say one of our answers should be location of murder. Location of murder, but is there any reason just that this picture alone should get? Is there anything on the back? I don't believe so. No. Nothing on the back of it. I mean, it is a location, but nothing jumps out at me. Is that a lock on the door? Kind of hard to see. Sauna. Don't see any footprints. Okay. Well, let's just put this aside for a second. All right, let's collect our cards now. What have we not used? We do think there's a jewel robbery of importance, and snowflakes we haven't used, and this we haven't used, and this we haven't used. Okay, so this looks like it might be related to the baseball games. You can see. But let's worry about that in a bit, because that seems kind of tricky. Are these all the cards we have? I think they are. I'm not sure how to make sense of these. 1, 4, 6, 5 don't match these numbers. Club, spade, diamond, heart. That's interesting. One of each suit. That is interesting. One of each suit. 5 people, 6 people. Okay. That doesn't jump out at me yet. So let's do this one, which does. Let's write down the message we can get using this grill. All right, maybe get close enough for the both of us to see. So all right, so how many different things we have? We have purple and orange. It looks like that this purple is not for us yet, just the orange. Probably the purple is going to be for this one. Okay. He was trying to convince Christian to return the jewel. Okay, so that's our first message. Let's write that down. Our orange message is he was trying to convince Christian to return the jewel. Okay, that's our first message. Now, that's the orange. Does the purple line up here with the purple message? I wonder if it's like this. Let's see if that works for us. There's the star. So Joe had to die. So Joe had to die. He was a threat to our wealth. So Joe had to die. He was a threat to our wealth. That's our purple. So Joe had to die. He was a threat to our wealth. Okay. So had to die. He was a threat to our wealth. Okay, so we know now who got killed. Joe had to die. He was a threat to our wealth. Joe was trying to convince Christian. These two are brothers or good friends. And we know about the jewel robbery, and it looks like Christian had the jewels. He was a threat to our wealth. So I guess we're getting answers to these questions, right? Who's the victim? Joe. Motive is to keep him quiet because he was a threat to their wealth. Murderer sounds like it was Isabella, the sister of Christian. And maybe this jigsaw just tells us that it happened in the sauna. But what about that whole thing about, you said you returned it, you lied, I will make you pay. Is this a message that Joe sent to Christian? Christian told him he returned it, he didn't? Not clear. We still got the snowflakes, the cards, and this, and this. What about, does this roll around the snowflake? Doesn't look like it. Anything on the back of these that we're missing? Well, okay. It is interesting that we've got one of each suit. That I find very interesting. And then roll me up to see the point. The point. I wonder if that's point of a knife. Okay. Let's try to not solve it, but make some observations. First, let me make sure I'm not missing any cards that I've forgotten to put out. Oh, yeah, look at that. Another snowflake we almost forgot about. All right. 3 different colors, red, green, and blue. Red, green, and blue, 3 colors. Okay, so observations. Here I can see there's digits goes from 1 to 4. It looks very similar to this, but these are 4x4 grids, 4 4x4s. These are actually 5x5 grids. There are 4 of them. Let's see, what do we notice about these patterns? They don't match our card. I was thinking this is Morse code. Dot, 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 dash, dash, dot, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dot, dash, dot. I mean, it is odd enough that I think it might be worth exploring, but I need some help with Morse code. Let's see. Okay, let's just try it. That's unfortunate. I have to deal with these ads. But of course, we don't know what order, but red, green, blue. This looks like it's the end of the message. Let's just try it. Dot, 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 dot. Dot, dash, dot. Dash, dot, dash, dot. Dot, dash, dot. That does not help, does it? Of course, they could be this way. How are we supposed to know which way to put these? It's a little trickier, isn't it? Dot, dash, dash. Then surely there must be a word break here, right? Sorry, I should be showing you both at the same time. All right. So then if our blue is next, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dot, dash, dot. What's that letter there? That's not right. That's not an alphabetic letter. Dot, dash, dash. That's a W. But then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an H. Okay. Then dot, dash, dot, dash. That becomes not a real letter. Okay. Well, what if we did this one this way? Then we would get dot, dash, dot. That doesn't look like it's spelling anything, does it? Dash, dot, dash, dot, dot, dash, dot. Just trying to think if everything was in different order. Do we still WH? Trying to think, since obviously we don't know what order anything could be in. Uh, Another question would be, is it even likely that the game is going to make us try to figure out that this is Morse code without any hints? Boy, it sure looks like Morse code to me, though. WH, and then this green is A and E. So WH, AE, that doesn't make sense. Be weird for it to start here, but what if this was reversed? I don't even know if I should be. This feels like WHENRC. It just feels like it's too much trial and error about too many different combinations. It shouldn't be right. It shouldn't require us to try so many combinations. Do we have anything that would tell us the right way to turn these and the right way to order them? I mean, we could. Let me come back here one last time. I'm just going to make notes of this. I mean, it really looks like each thing could only go one way or the other. So let's just write it out, and we won't have to keep messing with this again. We've got a red, a blue, and a green. Each one really can only be done two different ways. So if we look at the red, we've either got dash, dot, dash, dash, either a W and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, either a WH or an HG. Okay, now our blue. It's either dot, dash, dot, dash, dot, dash, dot. Either an RC or, did I do that wrong? Dash, dot, dash. Or a non-alphabetic AE diacritical and R. That looks like it has to be RC, really. Let's make sure I did that C right. Dash dot, dash dot. That's RC. Okay. And then the green is either dot, dash dot, either EN or what seems more likely, dash and dot, or AE. All right, so if our hunch is right about this, then we could put these in any order. This is probably RC. WHENRC. HG is a very strange set of letters. Probably it would have to be the WH. And it would have to be the RC. WHENRC. When RC. Are we missing something? Are we missing a snowflake? Oh, chat seems to be okay. The snowflakes are color coded. I'm wondering if they have something to do with the color of the pictures, like we have the green postcard. Do the three colors appear anywhere else? That's a good question. Either the colors or mentioning colors somewhere. We could have the words spelled out. We do have a red envelope, but we don't have a green envelope. I do see red socks. I wonder if we've got colors spelled out in words somewhere. Um, But boy, it doesn't feel like we would need. Okay, Jelly OSB figured it out. DJ Dispamonite says, I think I figured it out. Okay, well, I haven't figured it out. So let me put this aside for a second. I do notice there's a suggestion in the chat about pencil has a point and has a fairly standard diameter like this. Let me get a pencil. All right, it's time for a break. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll get a pencil to wrap this around. Roll me up to see the point. I do notice that this could be put in on something as well. In fact, this could be put almost on that. All right, we'll take a break. I'll see you in 8 minutes. All right, we are back. 17 concurrent viewers, 11 likes. It looks like the chat has solved these puzzles, or at least the snowflakes, but not I. All right, well, let's take inventory of what we've got. This looks like Morse code, the snowflakes. There may be something that tells us what order, but it feels like we shouldn't even need that. There are really only a couple possibilities, assuming that we've got 2 letters on each, which to me seems likely. We are asked to figure out the time of the murder. And I do wonder about WHEN for when. Could these snowflakes be telling us when? But then the only thing that would be available for when would be RC. And I just don't see, nothing's jumping out to me as that telling us a time. WHEN for when, AE. The rest of it, I don't see how to make words out of. Okay, well, let's put this aside for a second and take a look at our other puzzles. Try to carve the chicken at its joints when we get stuck in one place. I do feel like we're trying to answer the rest of these. Location of the murder. So far, that just seems like sauna is just because this is here. Victim, who is unrepentant of their previous crime. I guess that's Christian, who stole the jewels and won't return it. Motive and murderer. I think we got this thing that says Isabella kills. Now, weapon. This thing says roll me up to see the point. That seems like that might be telling us it's a knife, although I don't see anything there. Now, one suggestion was made to wrap it around a pencil because a pencil has a point, and to me that makes some sense. And we've seen this kind of thing before. If we wrap this around a pencil, do we get a phrase? Let's just see what happens. We wrap this around a pencil. That doesn't seem to spell out any. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, do you see it? It's backwards. It's morphine. 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 That's a little tricky. Morphine. Do any of the other ACHUS choose MT BQWGDXY? No, but this is morphine for sure. I wonder if that means we could have gone this way. Oh, yes, let's do it forwards. Don't have to read it backwards if we wrap it the right way. Okay, so there's morphine. None of the other words mean anything. Okay, so I guess that's our answer in terms of what was weapon number 1 or 2. One of the weapons is morphine. guess that's a weapon. Okay, that was a good idea to wrap it around a pencil because of point. That makes sense. We've actually done that before. We need to start doing this. Okay, victim. Who did we say the victim was? It was Joe. We were told Joe has to die. Unrepentant. That was Christian, who stole the jewel and said he would give it back, but didn't. Weapon 1 is morphine. Weapon 2, I'm not sure we've seen a second weapon. Location, if I had to guess, I'm guessing the sauna, though I'm not sure we have any reason other than that we've got a jigsaw puzzle of it. Time, that's the part that I'm a little bit confused about. Motive was to keep him quiet. And then the murderer was, we think, Isabella, just because this thing says Isabella kills. And then we do have an accomplice, though. I'm not sure we know the answer to that. Those are our 10 questions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 questions. Yes, okay. Okay, so we're still looking for another weapon, and we're looking for a time, and we're looking for an accomplice. And we've got these two things that we don't understand. Three things we don't understand. The snowflake code. If I find something that would tell me how RC would be a time, then that would solve that. Don't know what this is about. Don't know what these are about, although they have this lady's symbol on them. And there's one of each. I'm not sure what to make of this. I think what I'm going to do is reread the letters we have here to see if anything jumps out at me, starting with the postcard. You once told me that the Norse legend that the northern lights are reflections from the arms of the Valkyries, the choosers of the slain. After witnessing the incredible aurora this evening, I can't stop thinking about our predicament. Is there any way out for me? Can it be done without my supply? I'm begging you, please reconsider. Okay, that sounds like they're talking about my supply of morphine. So I'm not sure who's writing to who. Let's read CW's note. CW is Cynthia Wainwright. Darling sis, I hope you're well. How's mother doing, etc.? Lord, I hate this place. So damn cold. The snow is intensifying. The wind is howling. I'm just here to do what needs to be done. Europeans are so amusing with their traditions and quaint ideas. If it weren't for Freddie, I'd be out of here Back to London and the club. This is Cynthia writing, and we do have clubs. Let me look to see if she mentions heart, diamond. These Europeans are amusing with their traditions, plain ideas. If it weren't for Freddie, I'd be out of here, back to London and the clubs. The drama started last night when we were sitting for supper. I was wearing that sparkly dress with my diamond set. Well, they look real enough. The two Norwegian men started a heated debate. The scruffy one, Joe, I think, was talking about not forgetting one's heritage, integrity, and so on. Funny to hear a drunkard lecturing on integrity. His friend Christian, the tall, charming one, tried to reason with him, speaking about how we must move with the time. I couldn't agree more. His wife, the professor, joined in too. She's a real snob. But by the time Joe had worked himself into a frenzy, by that time Joe worked himself into a frenzy, he eventually blew up. He slammed his hands on the table and stormed off. What a to-do, a real fuss over nothing, although Freddie and I couldn't have guessed we'd have such entertainment in spades. Wow, for sure, this is this. Okay. Anyway, it's nearly over. Maybe enough time with Freddie's sister Dearest will get us what we need to start our lives in New York. My heart is set on it. Freddie says I'm his muse. He's going to make me a star. Must run, your ever devoted sister. Okay, so we figured out this. Now, the question is, there's lots of mention of time in here. So one way we might think that this is 6:45 a.m. a.m. 6:45. That's one possibility for the time. We've got this order. Another possibility is that it's like a book code. You could imagine that like this could be 1645, 1645, 1645. That's another possibility that this is 1645, which would be 4:45 p.m. instead of AM 6:45. Okay, there is lots of mention of time in this letter, so I wonder if 6:45 a.m. or 16:45, meaning 2:45 p.m. And then, as I said, the other possibility is that we look at clubs and ace. Maybe that would mean the first word of the sentence with the club. That would be an if, maybe. Or first sentence of the paragraph with the club. That would be these. Where's our diamond? I was wearing the sparkly dress with my diamond set. So if it's a 6, you could imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would be dress, or sixth word of the paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which would be when. Spades, we've got a 4. So if it's the fourth word here, 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be an I. If it's the fourth word in the paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is do. And then the hearts, fifth word, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is on. Fifth word of the paragraph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is maybe. So I'm inclined These when do, maybe if, dress ion. Okay, so that doesn't seem right. I'd be inclined to think this is a time. It is weird that this ace is throwing me, though. What does the chat think of that? First of all, it's very clear that these cards are being mentioned here. You could look at it and also guess that the card value is not important. Then we would see these. No. So, do we think this is a time? Does everyone agree that it's giving a time? And okay, so let's assume it's a time, and whether it's 6:45 a.m. or 2:45 p.m., I'm not sure there's a way for us to know. I'm just going to put 6:45 or 16:45. Maybe if we're European, we should think about it being military time. Now, I think this might give us our accomplice. And I think this is our girl Cynthia Wainwright. Cynthia Wainwright. Is this her handwriting? Because she says, "Can it be done without my supply?" And I feel like this is our accomplice. I thought this was going to be her handwriting, but now that I look at it, I don't see it. There's the I. That I does not match up at all. So whose handwriting is this with the postcard? Do we know who has morphine? Let's reread this. And who's got this weird handwriting with this weird eye? I don't think we know that handwriting. All right, well, let's continue reading things and seeing if anything jumps out. I think we only have two handwritings. We have Isabella's handwriting and we have Cynthia's handwriting, and then we have the one more. So we have three handwritings for 6 people. I'm not sure how we could do any better. But if we can find someone talking about morphine, then we'll know who that is. So let's see if we can. Let's see if I've forgotten anything. Okay, A Christmas to Remember. We've arrived. What a relief. Freddie complaining about the cold. Most of the way he's 20s, he's acting like a child. I have the feeling by the end of the trip it will be worthwhile. It's been an age since we've kept the gang together. Travel by dog sled. Christian's family cabin. Returning home crossed my mind. Suddenly, the last light of day gave way to dusk. We saw the cabin nestled in a small clearing. Cabin is fitted with all the modern conveniences. Christian and Joe went ahead to start the fires. Eleanor and I settled the dogs in. Once we'd shed our outer layers, they had supper of bread, cheese, fruit chutneys. The snowflakes fell. Christmas in Norway, what an adventure. P.S. Joe is more than a little overindulgent with his nightcap. I wonder if that's because they gave him morphine. Let's hope he doesn't overdo it. Last time was a pain. Christian won't hear any of it. He sees Joe like a brother, even though he's a threat to our joyful festivities, because he wants them to return the jewels. In any case, we have a wealth of our dear friends with us. Okay, I don't see any mention here. I haven't introduced the gang. Here they are. Freddie, charming, irritating, maddening younger brother. So dramatic, plenty of attention, fabulous storyteller, keeps us laughing into the wee hours. He's an up-and-coming artist and writer, ever so talented. I practically raised him. Cynthia, cool, calm, and so collected. Cynthia is the ice to Freddie's fire. I found her rather cold fish. She's a good influence, fashion model, loves to parade the latest styles. Where she hails from, she makes Fred happy. That's what matters. Eleonora Rosselli, my dearest friend, went to boarding school together. She pursued a career as a nurse. She's too good for this world. I love her for it. Eleanor has been besotted with Freddie for as long as I can remember. But so far on this trip, she seems to be switching allegiances to Joe. Okay, well, if I had to guess, this would be the key. This would be the clue. It's pretty thin, but you might guess that the nurse would have morphine and she's focusing on Joe because she's going to kill Joe, or it's going to be her morphine that kills him. So that would make her the writer of the postcard, which we're thinking makes her the accomplice. Nurse, which is Eleonora. It also makes sense that she's the accomplice because the person writing to us is Isabella, and we think Isabella may be the killer. So why not get your dearest friend to help you? All right, here's Joe. They were with the Merchant Navy. Maybe that's how they got in to see the jewels. Christian is her husband, so she's killing Joe to protect Christian. Even after the crash, he's never resented my independence. A true gem amongst men. Isabella, that's me. How would I describe myself? I'm a hard worker. I had to be since Mom and Papa passed. I'm a lecturer in literature, which is how I met Christian. I gave a talk on business. We met afterwards, talked till the cafe closed. Okay, so I think we've got our nurse, owner of the morphine. That makes her the accomplice to Isabella. So we're still missing something. We're missing a weapon, a second weapon. And we haven't figured this, and we haven't figured out this. You said you returned it. You lied. I will make you pay. That doesn't seem like a little odd. All right, let's take a look at this and see if anything jumps out more to us about this. So we've got the stolen jewel. Truly won in the 5th inning when Richard starred a home run. Intense rivalry. The Burtonwood Bees buzzing to a confident lead. Baseball is entering a golden age in Great Britain. New clubs starting up. Score by innings. Game was truly won in the 5th inning. That's the 5th inning. Red Sox, Burtonwood Bees. Law-abiding Christian. Score by innings. Okay. What on earth is this? What are we looking at here? I mean, there are 4 cells, and these numbers go from 1 to 4. Okay. Is this one of these things where we color it in and something visually jumps out at us? Is that what it is? Like, but then why would there be no 5? But I wonder if it's not like 4, 2. One, 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 one. Feels like maybe this is coloring in a picture that's going to be a picture of something, but how do we follow these rules to color this in? It's obviously not 1 digit per space, because we've got a whole bunch of 7 of them. I don't think it's a book code. No, I think, look at the odd. All right, let's do our thing. Rather than try to solve it, let's do our observations. First of all, there's mix of number of digits. Here we've got 3. Here we've got 7. 6. Here we've got 7. So sometimes it's odd, sometimes it's even. They seem to be random, but they only go from 1 to 4. That's very odd. My gut tells me it's something that's telling us how to color this in, and when we do, we'll be able to see a picture or read off a word. But boy, that's a weird one. It's really weird. I mean, yeah, it is very shockingly similar looking to the score by innings. If we filled in, these innings seem weird too. What if we filled in this grid, but it's the wrong dimensions? Boy, this really seems underdetermined to me. Like there's too many possibilities here. All right, what does the channel think? Any theories? The text on the postcard hasn't been used for anything, has it? Maybe we need to do something with that. It has been used. It has been used because it's the clue about not needing to use my supply. Do you think the grid numbers in the book baseball scores might be a book code? I don't know if it's true. I'm wondering if it's as simple as coloring the boxes like you said, like line 1 is color on the 4th box, 2nd box, and the 4th box after it. Well, I mean, that was my guess, but it doesn't work because how do you interpret this? 7-digit ones. Like color, 7 of them, 1 boxes, and is this 3? Like, does that mean we skip 3? We color 3? Don't understand how we would do that. It just seems we need more advice, more of a hint about how it wants us to fill this out. And what is it? What would it be giving us? A weapon? Stacy has decided to just give us an answer. Stacy says, yes, this is a Japanese picture puzzle. Okay, well, Stacy, you shouldn't be giving us an answer so blatantly. I did reread the newspaper, but it seems like the group wants to see it again. All right. This little creature that's flying around is going to get killed during a break. We've got Red Sox, we've got Grays, rivalry, bees buzzing, golden age in Great Britain, score by innings. DJ says we do have the hint envelope. Yes, we do have the hint envelope. It's just a shame to read a hint just for that. Just for one puzzle. Um, so you've got threes, fours, five, six, seven. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the length of these. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 length. We've got 20 spaces. They certainly don't go in evenly. I was thinking maybe, what about, is it like a repeating thing? Let me just sum up what these things are. This sums up to 10. That fits evenly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 does not go evenly into 20, so there goes that theory. 3, 4, 5, 6. No. Okay. The motto says, I would make a copy and try filling it in. I mean, yes, we could try filling it in various ways. If we made a copy, it would be easier. Though I don't, I'm trying to brainstorm ways to fill it in, and I'm not having much luck. Does anyone have any theories of how you would fill it in? Like, what do you think? Like a 4, make a Tetris shape of 4, then a Tetris shape of 2, and then a Tetris shape of 4, and then keep going? Like with different color? That's so strange. You could imagine 4 different colors, and then this grid would be the 4, the color, the fourth color, second color, fourth color, and then what? You would repeat with 4 different colors? That would, 4 different colors? That's craziness. But yeah, if we did, maybe we just write these numbers 424, 424, and so on. Then 11114. Would we get something? I mean, we can try it. It doesn't feel very good. This might get a bullet from us, from me. Could very well get a bullet. I'm not loving this puzzle, especially how unevenly difficult it is, ambiguous it is compared to the others. Let's see if we can have some tracing paper so I don't have to scan and copy it. Unfortunately, I don't know why I've run out of overlays. That's unfortunate. All right. I can feel a little bit of frustration sneaking in. Yeah, I can feel a little bit of the frustration sneaking in. I may go look at the hints soon, but 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 4, 2, and if we do 1, 1, 1, 1, 4. Three. This does not feel like it's getting anywhere, does it? what would be the other way you could interpret these? You could say you skip 4, then you skip 2, and then you skip 4, you skip 2, skip 4, skip 2, skip 1, skip 1. This is not fun. This is not fun. Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1. You think this is going to spell something? All right. Jelly OSB says, I think I have it. Okay, let's hear it. Because this is not enjoyable. All right, what do you think you have? Try to explain it really clearly, because this is where my frustration goes from like 50% to 100%. It's very easy for me to get super extra frustrated when I combine the frustration of the puzzle and trying to figure out what it wants with trying to make the transparency work, with trying to understand what is being said in the chat with the YouTube 10-second delay. So here comes the first bullet for first bad puzzle. There we have it. Okay, Jelly OSB is going to try to explain it. I think it's like a crossword. Use the paper baseball scores with the paper you have now. Well, it does make sense to try to overlay them. They don't really line up. Well, it's an interesting idea. But I don't know, like, how do you take this 4 to 4 with this top row? And this is 4 when we have 5 and 5. Okay. All right. We're going to open up the hints because I'm not having fun. And I don't think this is a good puzzle. But I shouldn't, I guess I shouldn't say that. Normally, I would sit here for a couple hours, but I don't understand the philosophy behind this puzzle. Stacy says correct. Open the hints. Okay. Don't know what that's about, but let's see. Let's see if it's worth it or not. Victim. The baseball scores in the newspaper look quite unusual. Okay, that's already very confusing. Why do we already think we have the victim? Why is the hint telling us about the victim and the baseball scores? Whereas on our list, we've already decoded the message using the grill. He was trying to convince Christian to return the jewels, so Joe had to die. He was a threat to our wealth. So why is the hint telling us about a victim when we already think we know the victim? Okay. To find out the previous crime, read the main newspaper article. To find the unrepentant criminal, consult with Father William. This is the Father William part. Father William is a law-abiding Christian caring for his parish. Is it trying to say Christian is the name and that's why it's there? I don't understand this. This is making me unhappy. There seems to be a playing card of each suit whose image is on the back of each card. Okay, we did get that part right. Location, this is one to spend some time puzzling out. This seems to be saying just that the jigsaw puzzle is the answer, so it's just sauna. The vial contains answers. All right, we got morphine for that. Into each life, a little snow must fall. This seems like it's the snowflake. I see something here. I see now wrench. 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 But it does mean splitting these up, not reading them across. But wrench absolutely makes use of our Morse code letters. WRENCH. But I don't know how you would think. I guess you would read them like this. Where's the other one? I guess you could read them WRENCH like that instead of WH. WRE. No, that still doesn't work. I mean, I still think it is wrench, but there's no way to get. Oh, yes, you can if you did it in the other order. If this is 1, 2, 3, then you got W. No, that doesn't work. I mean, I can just reuse the letters and get wrench, but there's no way to order them to make that work. WRE. Oh, and then it goes up backwards, NCH. So it's like WRENCH. Okay. Wrench. Something like that. WRENCH or that's very, if that's the answer, that's gonna get another bullet from me, but okay. Accomplice. First discover weapon 1. Also, the Northern Lights postcard mentions a reference worth exploring. Yes, this is the morphine, and the Northern Lights postcard said, I hope we don't have to use my supply. The pendant is a veg visor, also known as a Viking compass, and it will help clear a path to the killer. You'll find the symbols on the Vegistar are also scattered across various previous clues. Interestingly, the Vegistar has the same basic shape as a snowflake. Yes, okay. So, baseballs, the hint about the victim is a hint in the baseball scores. Okay. Well, that doesn't help me very much. Where's our answers? What are we missing? Anything? So those are the first hints for all of the clues. What did we say we didn't know? The second weapon, which now we think we figured out is wrench. The only clue we actually needed was that this snowfall, these snowflakes coated a weapon. Once we got that hint, then I figured out that this could spell wrench. I don't think there's any logic to the order, though. Victim we got from deduction, not from the newspaper scores. But let's move along to the next hint. Do the newspaper baseball scores align with any other item? I guess that's what we noticed right away, but we didn't know how to use. We still don't. It seemed like that's what the channel is trying to get at. Have a closer look at the tools Father William has at his disposal. I mean, he's got a magnifying glass. This Faminite says, I think I understand the rules of the baseball puzzle with the grid. All right, we'll see if you can explain them in a way that won't send me into a rage. I still don't understand how this is a hint. Have a closer look at the tools that Father Williams has. I mean, I see he has a magnifying glass. Okay. Gather the 12 puzzle pieces. Follow the direction of the back strip. Notice the markings. Postcard, aligner predicament, the Valkyries, the choosers of the slain, suggesting the writer may be implicated and female. I'm not sure how you get the way the digits are on the snowflake, with the top of the pendant pointing north. On the previous clues, each symbol has a corresponding letter. There are 7 symbols and letters. One symbol repeats. I don't know why you have to lay it on the snowflake. As we know from the character profiles on the ship photo, move each letter of the code 3 places. Okay, we got that. Third hint. Align the bottom of the newspaper baseball scores with the top of the grid to create and solve a nonogram. The bottom of the baseball scores with the top of the grid. The bottom of the baseball scores with the top of the grid. A nonogram. Okay, well, I've never heard of that. Look at the magnifying glass. Read the 8 words that border the magnifying glass. Really? Father Christian is not sorry for his past sins. Christian is not sorry for his past sins. Okay. All right. We already concluded that, but I guess that's the puzzle here meant for you to solve here. Okay. Okay, where's my bullets? That's ridiculous. Okay, moving along. It's ridiculous that we're supposed to find that. And it wasn't necessary. The sign in the picture will show you where the murder took place. Okay, so it sure looks like, as we suspected, that this puzzle is just, this is the sauna, so that's the where. Okay. Translate the 6 Morse code markings, rearrange the letters to find the second murder weapon. Okay, we're just supposed to rearrange them randomly to get something. Weapon 1 could be procured with someone with a certain type of occupation. All right, we figured that. Snowflake dial. Next, arrange the letters in the order of the numbers shown around the dial to reveal the murder. I don't know why they keep talking about snowflakes. This is, we solved this Vegisir thing without having anything to do with Snowflake. I don't know why they're talking about snowflakes. Motive. Joe and Christian stole the diamond during the First World War. We know from the code on the ship and Cynthia's letter, these are no longer on the same page. Overlay the translucent paper. The highlighted box reveals a message, right? We got that. Okay, and then here's the solutions. So the best hint they gave us about the one puzzle we're stuck with, align the bottom of the newspaper scores with the top of the grid to create a nonogram, which we've never heard of in 4 years. Okay. And now let's see if the chat can explain this. Anna says, it's the Christmas all day long stream already. Obviously, I'm late for this game, but will there be others after that? Yes, there is going to be another game after this, after I regain my composure. All right, let's see if this Spamonite can explain this to me. But actually, it's a nonogram, so let's search it. Okay, nonograms. Okay, so here it was. So we were right with the basic idea. All right, let's see. Let's see what we've got here. The purpose of is discover a board made up of blue squares and free spaces. You can do this by looking at row column definitions, a sequence of numbers that describe groups of consecutive squares appearing on that row. For example, for example, 152 means 1 square, 5 squares, and 2 squares. In this order, separated by 1 or more spaces between them. So when we have 424, it's saying do what I was basically doing, but it's ambiguous about how many spaces are between them. So there is no right answer for coloring 1 to 4. But in this diagram, the numbers line up perfectly with the 5 by 5. Yet here we've got 4 by 4s above it. So how are we supposed to line these up with these 5? There's 5 here. I don't understand how we're supposed to. How does that work? I get that. Okay, so let's understand what a nonogram is. So it's a little bit of a logic puzzle. It says the first row is going to be a 2, a 3, and a 1, but you don't know. Like here's our 1, 5, and 2. A 1 string, a 5 string, and a 2 string with arbitrary numbers of empty cells in between them. And So just looking at this row is not enough to know how to do it, but you use the logic of the constraints coming from top down. But so that's an interesting, seems like it would be a little bit tricky, to be honest. It seems like it would be very tricky to me, but how do we now do it given that we've only got 4 here? I don't understand that part. Skip the first 2 boxes and last 2 boxes so it's in the middle? That seems insane to me. They just don't line up. If you try to line this up inside cells, then these don't line up in cells. This is insanity. Why would you do that? It's hard enough if it was 5 by 5. Why on earth would you make these 4 by 4? Why would you make it? Why would you take something that's already impossible to figure out unless you've seen this kind of puzzle and then deliberately make it not align properly and not match up? What on earth were they thinking? That's bizarre. That's truly bizarre. Okay, well, let's take our 8-minute break. We'll read the solution. We'll check our answers. The crazy thing is, I don't think we need to know this to solve. We've got answers already without this. We'll read the solution, then we'll talk about the case, and then we'll decide what to do next. I'll see you in 8 minutes. We are back 3 hours into our playthrough of Death in a Snowstorm. I can't say that ended on a pleasant note. Let's read the solution on the website and then we'll talk about this case. All right, so it says, it gives us an, where are our questions? Okay, so having not played a game from this company, Murder by Post, Murders by Post, Murder by Post, Murder by Post, it wants us to answer each of these questions, some of which involve deduction, and the other of which just come from finding words amongst these puzzles. For example, location of murder, we're just concluding it's sauna because we assembled a jigsaw puzzle with a location on it. Others actually required a little bit of deduction about who would have the morphine. That would be the accomplice. So we have answers to all of these. Where are our answers? Why am I having such a difficult time keeping good notes today? Okay, our victim is Joe because we deciphered the note that said Joe wants Christian to return the jewel, so he had to die. Threat to our wealth. So we said the victim is Joe. This would be your time to chime in if you disagree. Victim is Joe. Christian is unrepentant of his previous crime. Weapon 1 was morphine. Weapon 2 was wrench. Location of the murder was the sauna. The time we've identified as either 16:45 or 6:45 a.m. Doesn't seem to be any way to really know which of those two it wants. The accomplice was the nurse with the morphine. That was the one that required a little bit of deduction. The motive is to keep him quiet based on the message about he was trying to convince Christian to return the jewel. It says that, but then we decoded this message. You said you returned it. You lied. I will make you pay. That sounds like he's going to turn him in or blackmail him. It's not exactly clear. I guess it doesn't really matter here. Our accomplice was the nurse, which means Isabella, the friend of the girl that the murderer is Isabella. We know that because of this message. And the accomplice is Eleonora, who's Isabella's best friend. Okay, so those are our answers. Now we go to this website to read the solution here, I guess. Let's see what we've got. So when I open the page, here it is. It just is the solution. Death in a snowstorm. Well, the deed is done. Sweet relief. Our brother Johann had to go. He's always been a walking disaster. Nothing new there. But he was becoming quite impossible to control. A man out of control quickly becomes a threat, and that cannot be tolerated. It started a few years ago when he hit rock bottom and had some kind of spiritual epiphany. Ever since then, he's been trying to persuade Christian to support one charitable cause or another. And then his influence became far more insidious as he spent time working alongside Christian, convincing him to keep clear of more questionable business deals. Damn fool. He and his wretched conscience were starting to cost us real money. God knows we need it, especially as we'll have to finance Freddie's upcoming move to New York. We'll have to make sure that awful gold digger he's with doesn't see a penny of it. Christian was taking heed of that worthless layabout more and more, but the big doy business was the final straw. When Joe found out from a newspaper article Christian returned a counterfeit jewel as a decoy, he practically invited himself on this trip so he could urge Christian to return the emerald to make amends. Pathetic. They stole it together all those years ago, and suddenly he develops a conscience. I could see Christian starting to doubt himself, struggling to sleep. I couldn't tolerate the meddling any further. Christian would never have laid a finger on Joe. They were like family. I knew I had to take matters into my own hands. The trip provided the ideal opportunity. I knew sweet, faithful Eleonora would be by my side. She had a wobbly moment, but with a little coaxing, I soon had her back on track. I had the wrench hidden near the sauna before she arranged to meet him there. but he's a large man and we couldn't take any chances. Eleonora procured morphine from the hospital and slipped it into his drink in the afternoon. Easily done, as the drunkard had one to hand most of the day. The morphine made him far easier to deal with once he arrived at the sauna, and finally we had the lake to keep our darkest secrets well hidden. The snowstorm couldn't have been better timed, covering our tracks in a thick veil of white. I've hidden the emerald for now, so Christian will believe Joe made off with it. Poor love, he'll have a few restless nights, but I'm sure he'll soon recover. I, for one, will sleep like a baby. Night, night, Isabel X. Okay, so there you have it. Now, let's talk about the case. Well, we got 3 bullets here for 3 unpleasant puzzle elements. I guess one was the snowflake because the letters had to be assembled in a random order and we weren't told what they were trying to tell us. And then I guess 2 for this nonogram puzzle. Well, I mean, I can't say that I'm a big fan of this, which brings me no pleasure to say. I think, there's some real missed opportunities here because it's sort of half a cold case and half just a pure puzzle game. And I think the elements that were more on the cold case side were more successful. Like these letters we got that laid out the story were intriguing. And for a $56 game, I really expected a longer, richer experience. Now, if you just look at the puzzles, though, well, there are a couple real problems here. I think the structure of the experience is really weird. This comment here about you're trying to solve these 12 facts, and half of them are sort of complete non sequiturs. It's like weapon 1, weapon 2, time of murder. And it has nothing to do with, there's no story elements to figure any of this out. There's no story elements to even prompt any of it. It's just sort of like, here are these snowflakes, which we spotted were Morse code. And when we decrypted them, we got these pairs of letters. And then from that, we're supposed to just guess that it's telling us about a weapon. No reason why it's telling us about a weapon. We just guess that it's a weapon and then just figure out a way to unscramble these letters to get wrenched. And there's no mention of anyone being hit in the head. There's no mention of a weapon. It's just, you need a weapon. You need 2 weapons. And so you're looking for anything that's a weapon. And then the answer to one of the puzzles was just that there's a jigsaw of this. And so that must be the location. It's the only location we've seen, so that must be the answer to that. Doesn't involve any deduction, doesn't involve any clues, no reason why there's a photograph of this, no mention in any way of details of how he was killed or where, just that we've got 12 things to find, and so that must be one of them. then there were the parts where it was enjoyable were the parts that required a little bit of deduction. And this part about when we reread this, we found out this one is the nurse, and we got the postcard saying, do we have to use my supply? That was fun to put together. But then pieces of this, like we decoded this message using the grill that seemed to tell us exactly who to kill, who got killed and why. And then we had this redundant thing that told us that Christian is not repentant, but it seemed obvious that he wasn't repentant. But I mean, to get that this is a puzzle answer, even though we have no reason to be looking for it, we have no basis to be searching for who's repentant, because we can sort of use deduction to figure out who's repentant, who's not repentant. And that just seems very odd. And then the biggest fail of the whole thing is this whole puzzle. And the hints are terrible at explaining it as well. The idea that if you, first of all, the idea that you're taking a puzzle that many groups will never have seen, a nonogram, I've never heard of it, but it sounds a little bit interesting. We noted that this was very similar to this, but then the fact that it's a different dimension, 4x4, when these are 5x5s, the idea that you would take this kind of puzzle that if you've never heard of it, you've got no chance of figuring out what it wants. And how are you going to search for this kind of puzzle? I don't think you're going to have an easy time. If you happen to know what a nonogram is, then maybe you know automatically. If not, you're at a real struggle. But then to go further and break the rules of how the nonogram puzzles work by making this only 4 columns, and then it's still not clear to me how we're supposed to decide which columns these go in. That's just totally bizarre to me. It's totally inexplicable. I mean, it's already a bad design of a puzzle. To make a puzzle that if the players haven't encountered this, then they're going to be lost. But then to go to the extra effort to make it the wrong number of columns, and then for the hints to be poor, as the Spamonite says, they don't even give us a solution. If you wanted to do this, you could put a nonogram in the newspaper to give us to point us out to what it's called. And you'd have to make these the right number of columns. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Now, the second problem with this is we never solved this. We seem to have got everything right. Now, here's a question for you. When did the murder happen? There's the question. What was the time of the murder? Well, what's the answer? Here's the solution. What was the answer? Was it 6:45 a.m. or 16:45 p.m.? And where does it say? I guess it's not, it doesn't seem to be here. Unless I'm overlooking at it. 16:45, where does it say it? Maybe I overlooked it. Am I complaining for no reason? Does it say here? guess we could scratch this off and find out there is no solution for the nonogram. What does the nonogram tell us? We're not missing anything. If we go here, I guess it's supposed to be the victim. This ridiculous puzzle is supposed to tell us the victim. But we've got the victim right here. Joe had to die. He was a threat to our wealth. Channel is saying it says afternoon drink. Well, that still is not our 6:45 unless it told us when they had the 6:45 drink. So I don't believe the solution did tell us when he died. I guess you're saying it's not 6:45 a.m., but it still doesn't tell us that we got the right answer to that puzzle. Maybe they want you to scratch this off to get the answers to everything. I don't know why the epilogue doesn't give us the answers. I think they're also, I don't know if we have a word for this, but there's two kinds of puzzle games. There are the puzzle games where the items you use to solve the puzzles are narratively justified. Like, you get a letter from the killer who's taunting you, and so he's made a puzzle for you to solve, right? Or you have to assemble the item that was found at the scene, and that will illuminate you into what happened. And then there are puzzles like this, where decoding the Morse code spells wrench. Now, why is it on snowflakes? Why is it Morse code? On what basis are these related to the case? Totally not just a pretend thing. Like, there's no real reason why any of this is done. It's just that here's a puzzle to figure out. Okay, so really a shame. And a very expensive shame. And it brings me no joy to be so critical here. The other thing is, let me just make another point about this nonogram thing that apparently we did not have to solve because it wasn't needed to answer any question that we have. I feel a little bit cheated. I would have liked to play this game. I would have liked to play the deductive solving a kind of puzzle I've never played before. It's a little bit like a Sudoku constraint puzzle. And I feel like I was robbed of that. One, because it wasn't necessary. Two, because you needed to get to the final hint to just tell you that it's called a nonogram. And then the misaligning of the grid, I was just like, I've had enough. How much more enjoyable would that have been? I mean, you made me put together the jigsaw puzzle. There's no deduction involved there. How much more enjoyable would it have been if this was properly 5x5, and in the paper, there was a little sample puzzle that said, here's today's nonogram, and did a super easy one. And then we would figure out, hey, this is also probably a nonogram. And then we could have solved it and had fun with it. So, all right, let me try to be constructive here. The materials feel nice. The story is kind of fun. It was fun when we first learned that, oh, there's going to be some jewelry heist story behind here. I liked the letter and the drawings. I just think that like the core philosophy behind the puzzles here needs to be fixed. And if you have to go online to solve it, maybe you don't have to go online to solve it. I suppose you could play this entirely offline if you just scratched off these. I am not a fan of this system. All right, well, interesting experience. Not entirely successful, not entirely pleasurable. What are we going to do now here? I guess we're going to look and see any comments from the chat. Overall seems a bit disappointing, says Amato. They could have included a minor nanogram in one of the earliest letters to prep us or on the paper. Amato says, so it's over. We don't know what the nonogram says. That's right, unless Stacy decides to tell us. Puzzle's not really related to the story. Haven't seen a scratch-off system since Curse of the Dark. That's right, there was Curse of the Dark. And the questions presented to us at the beginning takes away from the mystery of the story. That's true too. That's true too. Though it's a weird choice to make those 12 questions and have you just come up with 12, come up with wrench as a weapon because you find the word wrench. All right, we're going to stop here. But then I'm going to catch my breath and we're going to do another live stream just to try to stay up all night. When will that live stream start? Not at 11. That's too soon. I guess at midnight. We have to decide what to play. I think we're going to play maybe Star Trek Cryptic. If you're on the Discord, you can let me know. Maybe we should talk about some choices. Okay, I'm going to give you some choices here. We could play Star Trek Cryptic, which is another puzzle game. We could play the Professor Charlie's Advent Calendar envelopes if we want to play another snow Christmassy Advent Calendar like thing. I think that's easier and smoother. Or we could play Masters of Crime Incognito, which is going to be a longer card-based mystery game. Or we could play something else. Spamonite says, I'm in for Star Trek Cryptic. Okay, well, we're going to stop here. If you're on the Discord, you can jump in and help me decide what to play, or the Board Game Geek Guild for this channel. You could post there, but I'm going to see you in 45 minutes. No, an hour and 15 minutes for our next stream. Hopefully I'll still be awake. It's a little bit of a rough call, but I'll see you then.